Good morning, traders. How we doing out there? It's, of course, Money Mitch and ready to get back after it. It's, of course, Trade the Pool, getting another week in, guys. Excited to be back in the market, of course. And wouldn't you know it, we're up higher, right? And so definitely need to go ahead to see what happens today. Don't know why Michael Nas's thing sticks so much. I've already hit removed like 5 times, but you'll see him disappear in just a second. Let me just put myself in the spotlight. There he goes. Now cut him off. All right, guys, of course, we'll kick things off and take a look at what stocks are moving in the market this morning. There's a lot to take a look at, guys. So let's go first towards the charts. Let's take a look around. So what I really want to do today, of course, is not necessarily just look at what was hot. I want to start looking at monthly candles because I think this is a very important exercise that most traders just don't do, right? So if you have a stock you guys want to take a look at today on the monthly, throw it up in the chat. We'll go looking through. You can see Boom Energy, another insane month. It had a 69% month in September. In October, this thing had a 74%. You can see how the candles are essentially getting bigger, not smaller, showing you that the volatility increasing, not decreasing. UMAC, also a really good month. SMR got up there as high as 60, but has pulled back, so that's one name to keep an eye out for. Lemonade going higher and higher. This is actually one that I'd actually take a look at. It doesn't seem to want to stop. It does barcode back to 55, but if it can hold 60s, get up there towards 65, could have another breakout. And then E's been hanging in here, right? So we'll see what happens on that name. Pony, about the same thing, actually reporting tomorrow before the bell, so keep your eyes on Pony. I'm just running through some names here, and if you guys have anything that stands out to you, by all means, throw it up in the chat. We'll also take a look at some different names, right? Lumen, of course, that's not a bad one to watch. Yeah, that's been an absolute monster, right? We'll see if this thing can keep going, right? It's had a really good run. I've watched it since 5. It's already gotten up there towards 11. I think we might get a 9 opportunity and then a move back towards 11. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it already got there pretty much on Friday, right? I mean, you were as low as 855. So at that point, will it come back to 9? I don't know. I think we might just push right back up towards 11. So this is not a name that I'm actually going to be looking to short. I was looking to short when it was up here at 11, going back to the 9 EMA. It already did that move. Now it could tap this and even go higher. So we'll see what happens there in Lumen Technologies. And that's not the only name to look at, right? There's a lot of names to look at in this market. We'll keep going. You guys keep throwing up names in the chat. It's good to see you. Good to see you out there, James. Let's keep going. Let's go towards some other names. Still running through the monthlies. The AVGO, another name to look at for a potential run again. Of course, this one's battling with some other names, but I think this one can just break out through the 376. And we're looking for a tech rally here going into the late months of the year, November, December. XLK is another sign of that, right? We can take a look even at the monthlies here. Look how the monthlies have just been absolutely killing, and if anything, just as big as it was in September. So could we continue with another tech rally? I think so, guys. We have some names really kind of leading, like Tesla almost up there. Amazon just hit all-time highs, right back. Google near if not at all-time highs, right? Apple near if not at all-time highs. I mean, what's really holding us back, right? Maybe Meta's on the pullback here to 655, so we need Meta to come right back up, Microsoft to come right back up, and then if this happens, this is how you continue to make a rally in this month. We'll see what happens here with the market, but there's still a lot of names to look at. I mean, we can go through some of the quantum names. Those have held on and got bigger in the month, right? It was a big month for them. We'll see if they continue or will they pull back. A name like FLNC that I've been watching since 11. What a run this has been, up there to 21. I think we might get this pullback where it comes back towards 19 and then continues, but another name to look at for continued rallies for the year. SQM, a name that I've talked about countless times, and I'm going to continue beating the hammer that I was looking for this name to come back into this spot, then really kind of drive out of here. And now it's continued to do that and looked a lot better, guys. It looks great here on this turnaround. Now, anything pulling back to 45 or 48 looks great for me to jump in there too. We'll see what happens on the SQM. I think this eventually can get right back up there towards 70 and maybe even get back there towards 100. That could still leave room for 95% rally, or even if we just got back there towards like 65, that's a 32% rally. So definitely a name that I want to continue to watch. ALB, similar conversation. I think this thing could get right back up there towards, like, let's say 169. That's a 70% rally. But if it gets all the way back up here, that's 174, 140s. I think this is another name you keep watch to see what happens. And it's setting up for another move right now. So you can see kind of that little peaking action right here. You pulled back. You've had a lot of lows in the same area. If you look at the weekly is pretty much building in this area. So anything in this area seems like a buy zone for me. I'd be looking for pullbacks back towards 96, 94, but above 100 to give you the strength and the move to the upside. We'll see what happens on a name like ALB. All right, RX, still on my watch, but of course this one cut me out last week. This was the big kind of loser and drag because I was up on this name, just didn't take the profits and run with it. Hey, learning lesson last week, of course, of not taking the money and running. And that's how it is. You know, one of the things that I talk about often is how this market can switch on you in a hurry. And if you don't start taking money and running, well, that's how you quickly get rotation put right back into you. And then when the rotation comes back in, the problem is that you have to fight the market. And right here, you guys can clearly see it. It just did not work out. But we'll keep looking at other trades to see if we can get a nice swing trade this week, right? Hims and Hers and Palantir reporting tonight. So that's going to be an interesting name to look at. Will Hims get the bounce off the earnings? We'll see what happens. Palantir also on watch, right? So we'll see what happens there. Will Palantir get back above the 206 and start to climb? Earnings coming in tonight, and the pressure is going to be on. But can they kill it? Yeah, they could still do that, right? We'll see what happens out there. Keep looking at the monthly charts. This Grail, AMD's been, what a monster month, guys. I was looking at this, guys, at 114. We've made a run to 260, guys. I mean, it's an incredible rally from that. We're talking now 118% in AMD. And that, my friends, is how you make some money. This is one name that I'm going to be a little upset because I thought this was one of the easiest setups ever, guys. Just take a look at the monthly chart. This monthly level gave us such a beautiful ability to get in on. By undercutting the 100, it gave us an ultimate trend line from back in like 2018 to really jump on for AMD, which was a beautiful, beautiful ride if you were able to catch it. This is why you look at monthly charts. I thought Palantir and Lumen were tied now. We'll see what happens. They are tied together in a partnership. It's not tied together completely, but we'll see what happens. They have just a partnership. It's just a kind of a help. And Lumen is making the right partnerships. But AMD, what a monster move, man. And now we're really starting to see even NVIDIA partake in the rally. This is why I'm looking for another tech rally, right? NVIDIA has gone up a little bit higher. It's not a crazy move, but it's definitely continuing to just chug along, right? And as long as it doesn't break this red line again, I think you're still looking good. And NVIDIA, this could be another climb. That's why I'm looking for Qualcomm to continue the run right back to the upside. I'm looking also for some software names to continue the climb to the upside. Name like CRM that I was looking for pullbacks and continuations last week. Pulled back, nice flagging action off a longer term support trend line, right? It came right back to the line. Now we're starting to break right back out of it. This looks awesome, guys. This is going to be one of my main targets to just keep trying to trade here because this looks like a really good breakout. And in this case, we could take a look at other software names, right? I am looking at some of these names. I like Uber today. That's on the alert because it's a nice software name. with a nice building chart. Take a look at the monthly. Monthly's been going sideways, now could break above 100. If I take a look at the weekly, I've been seeing this just kind of chug along, chug along. Now it's trying to get another break towards that 100. It has earnings tomorrow, so this would just be a day trade for me today, but is on the radar to get the move right back above 97.50 and break out towards like 98.44s right on the first action. And then they're going to look for a continued climb action towards maybe even 100 today. That would be about a 2.6% play, which easily happened in Uber today. All right, we'll see what happens in some of the plays. I'm seeing some of these small ones show up there, and there's some bigger movers today. 59-cent stock that's up about 100%. You got this FHIO that's absolutely chugging along right here, guys. This just make a break from 325. Got up there to 450s. Could get up there to 5, but I have no idea what this play is about, but it is holding the 9 EMA pullbacks. That's one move. 2 moves, 3 moves, pullback, loaded again, trying to make the 4th move higher. We'll look to see if it does a quick little pullback here and cuts through the 4, but it's holding on well. PHIO, a biotech, up 107%. Yes, you heard that right. Those stocks, man, they make crazy moves. SoFi able to catch a little bit of a pullback and then continued going. This is another name to look at for day trades action. I like this name on the pullback here. I would like to see it get right back above 30s, right? So you just got to see this start to show you some strength. We'll see if we get that move in SoFi above 30s. All right, we can take a look at some other names, of course, and keep throwing them up in the chat, guys. Of course, technology is really where I'm looking at to see what happens there in some of these kind of places. So like software application, we could take a look. Salesforce, of course, kind of leading there. Shopify will actually be reporting this week. So another name to look at in this space that has continued to do well. So maybe it gets a little bit of a run into the earnings. Shop, I believe, is on Wednesday. And let me confirm that for you. Let's pull up the earnings hub. Let's run through the earnings hub a little bit here so that you guys can see some of these stocks that are coming up this week. All right, well, you guys clearly see here, this is Earnings Hub. I like using them just because it gives me a really good ability to kind of look into the calendar, right? So you guys can see the calendar, of course, today. Fubo, how did Fubo do here? I was wondering, their live earnings call coming in right there. Well, earnings came in pretty good. EPS at 2 cents versus a -5 estimate. So let's see how Fubo action is actually happening right now on the chart. Right now, you guys can see it. It's at 394. It looks good for a 4 break today. This is going to be on my radar, guys. I kind of like this. Good numbers. Of course, Fubo did do kind of like a buyout. It's starting to change things. It could really kind of get a little bit of some squeezing action through 4 today. I like this trade here, guys. This is going to be on some watch here, guys. We will be watching for a break there in Fubo. Yes, you heard that right, guys. We'll see if we get that break above and also 370s for pullback. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other names out there. Hims and Palantir, of course, reporting tonight. Those are going to be interesting. Keep your eyes on that action. Definitely going to be something to look at. Then, of course, Uber and Shop tomorrow. So Shopify is also tomorrow morning. Spotify will get Pfizer also. So probably not going to take a swing on Pfizer right now, right? We'll just keep watch to see what happens. AMD Tuesday, of course, after the bell. That's going to be big for tech if we want to continue this rally. SMCI, of course, also reporting that night. And we got Tempest, Rivian. There's some bigger names, right? They're not the big mega tech. It doesn't mean they're not going to be important for certain stocks and certain themes in the market. You get McDonald's on Wednesday in the morning, Lemonade. I've talked about how that stock has been strong. Maybe a little bit of a unity run into earnings. Hood after the close will be an interesting one, of course, with so many different features they've been adding. They'll be definitely on my radar there. Duolingo will just be like kind of AI conversation, and then Celsius Holdings, the best energy drink on the market, right? We'll see what happens on that one. QBTS also reporting this week. So, and then, hold on a second. Somebody call Steve and Michael. Oscar is going to be reporting on Thursday. That will be interesting just to see the reactions of the stock on Oscar. We'll see what happens there, guys. After the bell, you got SoundHound, Airbnb, Archer. So SMR, it's one of those mid cap weeks, I would call this, where it's like not your biggest names, but also not like your pennies. It's going to be an interesting one. A lot of stocks. RXRX, a name that I liked, right? We'll see what happens after the earnings. Maybe it changes tunes. All right, getting out of the earnings hub, we can talk more about the Sunrise report. There really isn't anything too crazy to talk about. We can talk a little bit more about kind of NVIDIA popping on the Microsoft UAE deal. That's an interesting conversation out there. There was a deal in Kenvu. So KVUE, there's a buyout here. So the maker of Tylenol, Motrin, and other household staples surged 20% after announcing it would be acquired by KMB in a $48.7 billion cash and stock deal. So it's a cash and stock. So these are a little bit harder to kind of work out the price here exactly, but you guys can see the action. Got up all the way as high as 1977. This one might make one more little rally, but this is not really a name that I'd mess with now. It's more of an arbitrage approach for anybody that wants to play with that. We'll see what happens on there. And then IREN rocketing on a cloud deal. We'll talk about some of that action coming up just shortly with Michael Noss. All right, guys, we'll keep taking a look at the market out there. There's some names that I definitely want to watch to see what we can come up with. Definitely the metals and minerals have taken a back seat. There's still plays in basic materials, I think, to make, but you just got to make sure that you play with the hot momentum. So like coal got a nice little bounce back day on Friday. Chemicals, a little bit of a bounce back, but special chemicals going down, agricultural going down, aluminum going down, right? Lumber going down, copper pulling back really fast, guys. Remember, I traded FCX. That got up as high as 43 that day, and it was such a good trade. I'm going to keep on the radar for this move to go back through that trend line, but I'll give it more like a show me approach. We'll see if copper can get hot again. Gold on the pullback. That's going to pull back also, maybe a little bit of silver. We'll see if these really start to turn. If they are, there's a way of playing it, right? I can just short AU. AU's been on a monster run. At some point, I might actually start looking for a turnaround here in gold back to the downside, and that could be an opportunity here. So, hey, we'll see what happens there, right? This starts to break 66, 64s. Maybe we turn to gold. A little bit of short? I have to talk about that. All right, guys, let's keep it going. It's good to see you out there, Chase, and others in the chat. Say hello. If you're new to the show for the first time, let's kick things off. Let's get to the real action of things. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Start that countdown.
Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
What up out there, traders? Who's ready to trade a little FUBO with me? I don't know if Michael will, but I'm ready to do it. What's up, Michael? How we doing?
Doing great. You see Amazon just 2 seconds ago?
What happened?
You see, just ripped 5% in the last minute. A partnership with OpenAI.
Well,
all you need to say.
All you need to do, I've already said it. There's a new titan in town. His name's Sam Altman, and if you ain't got him in your deal, you ain't doing it right. He's the new titan, man. He's coming for Elon. So who knows?
Damn.
He's coming for Elon, man. He's trying. I will say this though. There was one place talking about Amazon would get to new all-time highs before earnings. I was right here. Trade the pool, baby. We were looking for it. We were looking for that high, and it was just sitting there at like 230s. Now you look at Amazon, you're like, oh, I want Amazon. Do you really want Amazon? 11% higher. That's why you have to get in sometimes, right? And these big boys are now looking like big boys. What are they doing, Michael? They're leading the party. take a look at Amazon, take a look at your Googles, take a look at your Apple, take a look at your Tesla, take a look at your Nvidia, take a look at your, I mean, you can name it from the big list. And the big list is looking good, man. The big list is looking good.
And it's always good to, one of my ETFs that I take a look at all the time is just this MAGS, MAGS, just the MAG 7, kind of equally weighted in there. You can see that's absolutely just ripping here. And yeah, just wild that there's still bears. That's, I think, the biggest thing is there's people out there. And I saw it last week too. I did a little bit. I like, my favorite thing in the world is doing a tweet that I know is going to just really grind people's gears and then just put away my phone for the weekend. So I did a whole tweet about Warren Buffett's cash pile. I can show you guys that chart that everyone's talking, oh my God, Warren Buffett's got a big cash pile, we should sell everything. And I'm just shocked that there's still bears out there, right? And when the last one gives up, that's when we're going to finally maybe consolidate for some period of time, because this is just nuts. We got a little bit, I think it's more, if you do the SP, you do the SP 500, I think it is, which is the CFD, you get a little bit more of an example of exactly what happened last week, in which there was so many people out there that were trying to short each of the downticks. You can see 3 days down in a row, which for this market is a lot, but from normal markets, not so much. But every time had a bottoming tail. Right? So if you want evidence that there is institutions waiting in the wings for any sort of pullback, that's more or less, I think, what you need to see. Is that, the saying has been as old as time, and I think is for a reason, in which, amateurs open the market, professionals close it. That's why we look at these daily candles and you look for things like topping and bottoming tails, because it just shows you that we sold off for the last pretty much the entire week, all morning, and then all afternoon someone came in and bought us back up over and over and over again. So that's the kind of evidence that I want to see all the time to get some sort of institutional accumulation, is that, hey, who is, are they buying it early? Are they buying it late? What's going on? So well past the great cooking oil crash of 2025. Now we just wait for the next thing that he says that will get everyone all riled up, and there'll be buyers there too. But this, like I always like to talk about, I always want to look at the futures or the CFD contract in Mondays, because if you don't see all of Sunday night, which I think is important to go take a look at. So we can zoom in and look at that now. But gap up, and then just have been buying all night. And again, highly recommend, if you don't want to pay for the futures contract, that's fine. Just type in what I did. You can do SP 500, you can do NAS 100, or I think it's US 30, I think is what they call the Dow. And these are CFD contracts, right? So these are how foreigners, and if you ever trade with prop firms, a lot of the times these are what you're trading. They mirror the underlying instrument almost perfectly. And in this case, for this would mirror the futures, which open up at 7 o'clock my time. So I think that's 8 Eastern on Sunday night. And you can see just based around all night, as soon as kind of 2 in the morning hit and a lot of the stocks, pre-market action for the stocks opened up, we rallied there. And then on that recent news, we've been trying to break out. So this is a 30-minute chart. And again, this is all of the kind of Sunday night to now data. So this is kind of the area or the zone I think to watch, is as long as we are in the high end of this zone or breaking out of this zone, I think that's bullish. If we ever reverse back down and we break the low end here, there's a lot of people who bought around this kind of 68.50 area, but that gives us a pretty good defined level. So highly recommend for, at the very least, because then you have, after today, you can use more of the ETFs because they have more of, longer trading hour. But the CFD contract, I think, is super important. So
got to get after it. Catching up with some of the comments in the chat. What's going on, guys? How we doing?
what's going on?
Fred out there too.
Hey, Fred. Interesting question. And this is, I think you guys are going to know my answer. Did anything die because of the snap shutdown? The way I look at it is everybody knew going into it. So I think a lot of that stuff is already priced in. So what we're looking for now when it comes to government shutdown is just surprise openings, right? We know the betting markets and priced in, so therefore probably priced into a lot of the stocks. I think they're pricing in like a 45-day shutdown now. So if that starts to extend, that's new information. If it opens up like today or tomorrow or sometime this week, that would be surprise information. But the fact that the shutdown happened and all of the things, everyone kind of knew this going into the end of the month, that I don't think it shocks anyone that nothing got resolved at the end of the month, like in a surprise way. You better believe that all traders and hedge fund managers are watching very, very closely to see what happens here. So again, we're looking for surprises. If you wake up one morning and the government's reopened and no one really thought the government would reopen, that to me, I think is more of a trade than trying to say, okay, look at this company that's going to miss because of Snap or, healthcare. I know XLV.
I think what might be helping it is that the household personal products are kind of lagging right now. They're kind of going down. So I could see
Yeah.
why you can just jump on the argument, but there really cash to be made because of that?
Well,
That's
like,
the
and if you look at XLC with like the whole Obamacare thing, or XLV, right? That was selling off last week, and where we were talking about the SPY, people were coming in to the SPY at the end of the day to buy the SPY. They weren't buying healthcare, and I think a lot of this is just because people were trying to unload their positions ahead of what they were pretty sure was going to be missing, ACA benefits and all that kind of stuff, which again, I know very little about, just full disclosure,
Yeah.
but so that's like priced in. So if you want to look at like the XLV, and if on a surprise thing, if Trump tweets out like today, hey, let's extend Obamacare for a year so we can get the government open or whatever, that would shock the hell out of everyone. And then you would see this chart just rip. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for, is an event that's a shock. I don't think it's a shock to anyone that the government stays shut down, considering again the betting markets are betting in like another 2-3 weeks of shutdown.
Yeah. There's still going to be some more extended vacations. A lot of people
Yeah,
are on.
good for them.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
and then not the ones that are not getting paid. I feel bad for those. The ones that are the ones that are getting paid, I don't really care as much about.
yeah, they're enjoying it, man. Why not? I mean, as long as the pay is going to be there at the end. I mean, it's a lot of them are just for load, so they're not getting paid right now. They're just getting
Yes.
promised to be paid when they come back. So
Yeah. So as long as you're able to, I don't know, what would that be, a buy now, pay later play or something? But again, I think a lot of these things are
yeah, they're just
are,
held in
are
banks.
priced in.
They're in the
You know,
banks. So, but
hey,
speaking of that, right? I mean, it's new monthly charts, man.
I went
Let's
through
talk
it. Did you hear? Do you
monthly,
want me to?
dude. That's what I want to
I,
talk, man. It's
I
new
have a
monthly day,
whole
dude. We got to teach these guys that this is what you should be doing today, or should have already done it,
highly,
right? Like
highly
this is
recommend.
important.
I go through every one of my list for on the end of every month. I go through my whole list on a monthly chart, and even for us who are day traders, short term swing, could not recommend doing this more. It takes like 10 minutes a month, and
Yeah.
it really gives you a big zoom out of, you get out of the noise, you get out of the BS of the this ticking up or down or whatever. So I do have, yeah, a bunch of these here. This is the SPY, which obviously month on month on month looks amazing. Kind of reminds me of back here on the chart, or
Mhm.
even back here, even right here. And none of those were necessarily bearish. Right. So back there, then you had a sideways couple months and then a rip from there. XLK, right? So I did XLK, XLF, and XLV because that's tech, finance, and healthcare. Those are most of, over half of the S&P 500. Split between those. This is tech. Don't think it surprised anyone that tech had the best month and was the leader there based off of the earnings, right? Earnings are breaking out to new all-time highs. Companies have never made more money than they are now, which is obviously a good thing, right? If you want the market to go up,
Inflation,
you
but
want companies to make a bunch of money. But this is XLF. So people say, hey, it's a bubble out there. Then I look at this. Okay, XLF has gone nowhere all year, done absolutely nothing. So your banks have done nothing. Look at XLV healthcare, that has done absolutely nothing all year. And then this one I think is the most interesting. So this is RSP. And RSP is, what is the average stock doing? What is the average large cap stock doing? Well, the answer is nothing all year. Right? Your average stock has done not a thing. So is there an AI bubble or a tech bubble? I could see the argument there, but no one in the right mind is saying, well, the whole economy or the whole market's in a bubble. When you look at the average stock, it's in nothing, right? This is the beginning of the year, like right here, and this is where we are now. We dipped, we came back up, we did pretty much nothing. And then this is the spicy chart that I made that I think this tweet got 25,000 impressions or something and a lot of angry comments because everyone goes, "Ooh, Warren Buffett's raising a cash pile." And it's probably a bunch of people who never followed Warren Buffett's book and never read The Intelligent Investor, because nowhere in there does it say try to time the market by raising a bunch of cash pile when you think there's a bubble. So it's obviously not what this guy does. He has no interest in timing the market in any way, shape, or form. So what I did is I just went and I said, okay, what happens when Warren Buffett raises a bunch of cash
He's just
6
a
months out?
boring investor.
All right, and these are the returns for when he raises a bunch of cash. What happens to the market 6 months out? Generally bullish. So find all the people who went, "Oh my God, Warren Buffett's cash pile. Does he know something or whatever?" And ignore those people because they didn't bother. This was like a one sentence prompt, and Perplexity
Yeah.
gave me this chart. Like
It's
they
just
don't bother to do the look.
it's also just kind of like, do you guys know how he invests now? He doesn't really do much, guys. It's not like he's a super active investor, and he's just
His whole mantra is to buy stuff and hold it forever. Like
yeah,
that's his
like that's where I
whole.
think people just like they don't even think like what it is in the first place. He already sold the company that made him, majority of it, right? Apple. He took a
Yeah.
big portion of it. It's done. And guess what? At this point, there's really not much for him to sink a whole bunch of money into.
Well, and there's a lot of talk about maybe he's just raising a bunch of cash for the next guy because he's retired. He
Yeah.
doesn't, you know.
That's what he's
So,
probably more than likely doing, right? It's now
yeah,
it's
so,
no longer about my cash. It's how do I keep this cash going in the right direction? And it's hey, take it easy. Right? That's
yeah.
what I'm sure he's saying. Take it easy.
Don't try
You
to
know what I
prove
mean?
yourself on day one that you're the next Warren Buffett,
Yeah,
right?
you have the next 5, 20, 30, 40 years to do this, not 1 year. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We're
I
not
think
going anywhere,
it's,
so hang tight.
but yeah, this chart got a lot of people heat it. So just
Yeah, I
again,
always think those are those are the worst. Like freaking out or even jumping on a position just because Warren. Oh, he opened the piece in Oxy, right? Everyone needed Oxy.
well, and it's
You know what
it's
I mean?
it's people are always going to the whole way up try to paint some reason that the market's going to go down, right? And one of my favorite sayings in the market is that bears sound smart and bulls make money. Where it's like the meme with the IQ bell curve, right? And it's like the really dumb guy and the really smart guy are just buy stocks. The market usually goes up, and then there's like the guy in the middle who's like screaming about this and that and war and blah 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 and devaluing the dollar and all these things and all these reasons why the market should crash, and it doesn't happen that way. So was just another one of those, in my opinion, is people saying, okay, here's a reason that I can write an article, which I'm going to write an article today about not listening to those people, because it's just like the news. If they can get you scared or they can get you worked up, that gets clicks, right? And that gets interest and that gets attention. So that's the game that they're in. So anyway, those are the monthly charts, right? XLF, XLV, the average stock still hasn't broken out this year and still has a long way to go. It's literally just the big cap tech names that are pulling us up. So what I would love to see is some sort of rotation. We see it periodically where you get a kind of cooling of the AI theme. And when you get that cooling of the AI theme, people start to look at industri- industrials and financials and healthcare and all that kind of name. It's a very interesting idea, right? It's a very interesting way to kind of go down the cap scale. So, I'm again, finance, I think is an interesting one, and then I think healthcare is also an interesting sector to watch. Even right, nice little base here on healthcare, and with that would be maybe some biotechs. Right, that this has been really strong recently, but even if you look at this one on a monthly chart, yes, a nice little push up, but really just breaking this prior resistance. that we just broke this month on. And this is just November. This is the beginning of the year right here. So we just went positive on the year in biotech. So a lot of room to go on a lot of these other sectors. And the benefit of tuning into this show is you'll learn things and hear about things that no one's talking about. They will continue to talk about AI while financials are breaking out to new highs or something like that. And it's the way it works. They're always slow.
Yeah, I remember we first started talking about that when we first started seeing the IWM make a move, right? So interest rates sometimes can just, if you just know where monetary policy is going, that can be a clue to make you money. And if you
Yep.
just know where fiscal policy is going, that can be clues to make you money, guys.
Mhm.
So sometimes just doing moves like that can make you money, right?
Well,
So the
this
key.
is another one. Does this look like a bubble? Right, this is the IWM chart. Yeah, we're a little overextended on the monthly
I
chart.
mean,
Maybe it's
bubbles
time
are going to
for a
be created
retro.
in tech, right? Bubbles were, I think that's where we've originally got I think even the term bubble, I would say, which is the .com era, right? Was all a technology bubble, right? And I think that's
Well,
where we're going to see bubbles always. They're not going to be in the
and the
small caps. The bubbles exist.
and the best part about that, so yeah, so this is 2001, right? The small cap sector I think was down 25%
Yeah.
max, right?
Yeah.
And it just shows that even if um, everyone's worried about 2008, because 2008 was, as someone who's there, 2008 was scary, right? 2008 was like near end of the world scary, because if you don't have banks, then you don't have anyone to lend money, you don't have anyone to, that's where everyone keeps the, it's very important. If the banks fail, the whole world goes to anarchy, and there's like literal end of world scenarios. The tech bubble was just like, don't, if you were in pets.com, that sucked. But you had tons of, a lot of people, and this is why I hate the connotation of bubble makes people think that they just all pop one day and everything just goes to zero. And it's not the way it works. It took like 3-4 years for the tech unwind to happen. So, and in that time, banks were doing fine, right? Healthcare was doing fine, all of this. So, even the whole point of this, the whole point of me going through this monthly chart was say, okay, let's say AI is just complete BS at this point. Yeah, the SPY is going to be down probably 30+ percent, and but there will be pockets of the market that do absolutely fine. And again, it won't happen overnight. It wasn't a single day event that, right, the market just locked limit down and went down forever after that. There was a bunch of huge bounces, like 60-70% bounces in all the way down. There's tons of time for a trader to react. Again, this is a monthly chart. So you're talking from top to bottom 30 months, so 3 years. I mean, if you had the wherewithal to get out in any of this period of time, you did just fine. So let's talk about Iron. I'm sure you already covered that, but there was some crazy news on that guy.
Yeah, Iron with the $9.7 billion AI cloud deal. So essentially, just a deal to be like to get NVIDIA GP300 GPUs, pretty much a new cloud infrastructure
Mhm.
location. So it's a 5-year deal with Microsoft for 9.7 billion. And these are the deals that you want to continue just pushing along, right? Like we've talked about it, the power to power these places is it's where the money's been. Iran has been an absolute rocket ride since $10, now trading at 73, and it was
No.
trading at $10 in April. Well, $5 in April. So just goes to show you that if you jump on trends quickly, you just might get one of these big trades. That's why I'm so always focused on what the next big trend can be.
Yes, and getting on the trend quickly for the viewers doesn't mean that you catch the bottom. Right? You didn't have to get this at 5. You didn't even have to get it at 7. You didn't even, if you got this breakout around 10, you're loving it. If you got the second breakout around 20, you're loving it. And this is what we talk about all the time with trend trading, is that you have to identify the trend, you got to get on the trend, and then you need the plan to stick with the trend. And that's where I think things fall apart for most people, is they don't have a plan to say, I'm going to be able to hold this thing to get lucky. They're just very, very quick. Let me sell some, let me sell some, let me sell some. And it's like, well, okay, that will make you feel better, but you'll never get, you can never get the stock that goes from 10 to 70 if you're selling at 20, if you're selling at 30, right? So some sort of, this is why for swings and long-term holds, I like some form of trailing stop. I know some people really like this the super trend, which is a lame name, but it's just an ATR trailing stop system, right? And this just would have kept you in this thing the entire time. And all
Yeah.
it is, it's an ATR trailing stop. So it's just saying, right, eventually, right, when this thing breaks, it will turn red. And that's when you get out of your trade. It's not anything magic, but it's a good way to identify if you're in a trend, a way to stick with it.
We will see some of these trades to see how they work out today. Of course, it's going to be interesting. There is some earning stocks on the docket. We'll keep watching. Not much economic data will come through. I think we will get ADP this week, which will be interesting because since it's the only jobs data, and it's usually the worst one, but since it's the only one, I think it might get scrutinized a little bit more just because if it shows something right, you're going to get the spookiness to hit. We'll see what happens
Yeah.
out there. Looking at names, right? I think this is the important time, really, on monthly charts to really catch a run if you're looking for the next run, right? So look for names to see what can get the lift, right? I'm watching a lot of areas. Definitely the miners made huge runs, but something tells me, I don't know, crypto's looking really weak on monthly charts. It might be time to go short Bitcoin. I've been looking at like Biddy, and that actually starting to look good. The volume also telling me something there. I think we might see a turn in Bitcoin before we see a turn in the markets.
I wonder if everyone in the crypto space got their wish and they really didn't want it. And their wish being that a whole bunch of institutions come into crypto and they're like, yes, that means it's something that we're really interested in now. And the problem is, as soon as you have institutions that come into something, generally it chops around more. So if Bitcoin is actually going to be a next, currency or something like that, maybe this is it. And I kind of posed this question on Twitter and got a couple good, smart responses to it. And I say, what if for like the next 5 years, Bitcoin is just between like 100,000 and 130,000? Same way we see with every other commodity out there. If it's just another commodity that just chops around and then has these crazy moves that happen real fast and then chops around again, I just don't know. I don't know. Is that it? Like we got the institutional involvement and now we're just, Bitcoin doesn't do anything anymore?
No, now it's like everybody that's gonna come out and try to get those guys, man. We gotta go get those guys. The GME of Bitcoin
Yeah.
is gonna be now not to buy Bitcoin, but to short Bitcoin. Give it back to them, right? So I
I
don't
don't
know,
know if I
man.
want to short versus BlackRock. I think
I don't know,
BlackRock's got a
man.
deeper pocket than what BlackRock and Vanguard have, the two largest ETFs out there.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. I mean, there is the short ETS for a reason, right? So I don't know. I'm just seeing it really weak in the monthly charts. The volume build up in this like biddy is telling me something might be turning there. Um, it was a downtrend in volume until probably I would say July, and then it's been a build up since July, and it just had the most volume it's had. So that's my sign to be concerned in Bitcoin.
Well, yeah, and if you look at it, right, it's up 671% in the last 2 years. So, right, a little pullback wouldn't hurt anyone.
Yeah, and this is my thing is that that's how Bitcoin loves to do. It has like a big trend for a little while, and then it goes and trends down and washes people out. This is why I always think to hold it long term, you really need to know when you're getting in because this is an easy recipe for disaster. I saw it happen too many times in the last kind of washing out of Bitcoin, right? And if you traded in like the 2018 time, you know about this, right? About getting washed out in Bitcoin overall. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I think if that's gonna be if Bitcoin really washes out, that's when I'll be starting to turn bearish on the market. We'll see if it shows
Well,
up
that's
first.
if we ever get these treasuries liquidated, that's when I'm going back to the bank and getting another loan. Like if MicroStrategy goes bankrupt and has to liquidate their portfolios, I'm buying as much as I not MicroStrategy, Bitcoin, as much as I possibly can get my hands on, and then just not looking at it for 5 years.
I mean,
That I think will be the event. As soon as this guy is like forced to sell, oof, I want
it's
in.
going down right now, and it's going down pretty fast. If you look at the monthly chart, it's not a slow decline.
Yeah, what's interesting is the Bitcoin versus if you do Bitcoin versus MicroStrategy, it's a very interesting chart. It just shows that like I don't think this chart will ever do a line here. I don't think this chart will ever go like back up again. Right? This is what happened this year, and then ever since then, it's just been a huge bleed lower, just showing that you don't want to own, even if you're bullish Bitcoin, you don't want to own MicroStrategy anymore because they've just kind of buried themselves a little bit in debt.
Yeah, and then when you think about all these things now that are so leveraged in this area, like BMNR and all these names, that to me is sounding of another bubble. Now, we can argue about this or not. It doesn't really matter, but it definitely is something there. There's something to be said about it. We'll see what happens with these. Let's go to stocks. Market's about to open, guys. 9:29. Top play of the day. What you got for us, Michael? Anything that you're looking at?
Just again, the overall market I think is interesting here because I feel like so many people got trapped in last week, and right now, as we're speaking, we're kind of ripping to new highs, and you can see these right. Yesterday's high is right above us, and then through that, it's just all-time highs. So I am just watching that super closely just to see if we get a little bit of a push, like an opening drive here. We're so close to all-time highs that we could get there today or tomorrow, and I don't think they're ready for it. The only thing I
Market's
always
open.
think is going to be more hated than this all-time high is the last all-time high.
Fubo already trying to get popping here. I'm looking at Fubo already. Let's see if we can get a little $4 poppage here. I'm liking it here. Let's see if we can get back above 4. I just want to go lower size here. There's a pullback. That's what I'm looking for. Let's see if we hit 390s really quickly. There we are. Take a starter here, long on Fubo. Let's see if this can go right back up here. I also like Qualcomm. I played that yesterday really well. Yesterday on Friday really well. So we'll look to see what happens there. Uber on the lift there too. Uber is on my radar today also for a move to 100. It's starting it off right off the back here. We'll see what happens on that one if it can really make a lift here. All right,
Some
Fubo.
trades coming in. SUPV. Whatever this guy is. We're shorting this guy. Come on, load up. There you go.
A lot of sizing coming in on that Fubo. Someone traded like 60, 70,000 shares there at 382 and 390. So a lot of share size there.
It looks like I missed a CSIQ short it was trying for. Yes. But yeah, that's the only trade so far today is this SUPV here.
I like Qualcomm above 182s. It went to the 182 so fast though. I'm trying to get anything back right here. That would have been our trigger on our strategy there, Michael. That one's a nice one today. I'm trying to get in on Qualcomm. It's jumping there, guys. I want it in, but I need a pullback here. Let's see if I can get that pullback. I'll be looking to grab it for sure.
Yeah, overall, just a quick look at the market. We have RSP actually down. So your average large cap stock is selling a little bit here off the open. And then you take that and you look at the Qs, which is ripping from the open. So this is showing us all you need to see for this is a large cap tech rally this morning. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to look at, at least off the beginning. With NASDAQ up over 1%, the Dow is down, right? So it's probably healthcare. Yeah, healthcare looks like it continues to take a little bit of a hit. And then if we look at XLF or financials, that's taking a hit there as well. So strong on tech, weak on financials, and then healthcare is about even.
Looking for one more pullback here on Qualcomm, but it's strong, guys. I keep seeing buying in on it. I just don't want to chase. So I'm trying to get the best price here, but definitely want in. Uber starting to go into Fubo starting to go into the green here, trying to add on a break of 4.
A little bit of selling here in the SPY. Tax talking about Lilly. What's Lilly up to? Oh, ripping. Good. I own a little bit of Lilly. That one's looking good. I think that might, my target on that is if we get through here, like 1200 is what I'm looking for on that guy. So yeah, Lilly killing it, Q's killing it, everything else coming down a little bit, including the SPY. It's just the first 5 minutes anyway it's been bearish here. So just be careful if you're not in these big cap tech names that are ripping.
Man, I wanted in on QCOM, but it was not letting me in. It's one of those where I needed to be ready at that 182 out the gates. Now I'm missing the trade here, so it's hard not to chase here. I'm trying my best not to chase. I'll have to wait. And if I miss it, it's just going to be one of those names.
SPY continuing its bleed here. No bounce in sight, but again, we're going to go back to the ES just to show that, right, it's just inside this overnight range. So what I'm wondering is, are we just testing? You can see a lot of resistance just kind of in this area. So is this either a pullback to test that zone to see if there's buyers in this kind of 6,900 area, or was that just a fake breakout and now we're just back inside the range? And also, again, inside yesterday's range. So I was looking to see if we were going to get like this huge opening drive to really kind of excite people. It doesn't look like we're getting that, at least not yet.
Might get a Qualcomm fill here. LVS giving me an alert. That stock's been hot, man. All right, got one entry there on Qualcomm. One entry on Path. Looking for Path pullback here. Uber's still looking really decent. That's one name that I'm watching. Looking around to see what's up. AUR, ARM, MSTR actually rocketing a little bit there. You know, we talk about it. We put it to life.
Yeah, Bitcoin bouncing just slightly.
RX
MS
having a decent open today.
Yeah, I know MicroStrategy announced like a big crypto buy, so that's probably why it's moving. So across the board again, I got really close eyes on this the SPY, right? So if we're going to work our way all the way to the low end of this pre-market range, that to me is going to be the kind of the most bearish sign. Right now, we're just pulling back inside the middle of the range, and that's not really interesting one way or another. Just a slight pullback inside a normal range. It's like kind of, okay, who cares? If we end up breaking the low of that range, well, then we need to watch yesterday's low. Because if you look at right where we struggled, right where we stalled, was around yesterday's high. That's where we're Fridays, right? This high is where we're having a bit of a hard time. So is this just a little bit of a pullback? Grab some liquidity, spook some people out, and we're going to turn around and rip. I don't know, but we'll look to see that. And again, a lot of this is financials. So if we look at XLF, come on, yeah, XLF is selling here right to yesterday's low. XLV, which is healthcare, has actually been rallying a little bit from the open, and then XLK from the open, that's been selling off. So having a good mix of what's going on. We have tech that's actually been selling a little bit, and then we have healthcare that's been rallying, and then we have financials that are selling a bit. That's why we're creating this kind of choppy market. Some sectors are doing well, some sectors are doing poorly. We don't really know which one's which right now. So, and the bot's taking that one trade on SUPV, and a whopping 10 big ones on it, and that's it. That's all we've had so far.
All right, got a Fubo, got Path and Qualcomm. Biggest red right now. Fubo probably going to get cut out of this trade right now.
Yeah, so the SPY, we continue to sell into these lows. No bounce sign in sight. This is maybe a little sell programmy. Just so you can see all these 2-minute candles. Every bounce is getting popped into. I'm still just kind of in a big wait and see mode.
Yeah, this is just the overnight action coming back at you. At least that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I'm really just watching that overnight low to see if that overnight low holds and we start to push higher from here, then great. We can, maybe this is just a little bit of a sell before the bounce. If I start to see it bounce as SUPV, I'm up a little bit on. I might actually take that profit off the table on that one. But nothing, for context, if we zoom out, we're still inside yesterday's range, but we have gone from being a solid green candle this morning to now it's a bit of a red candle and getting close to yesterday's opening action. And then we got to watch yesterday's close. So some zones nearby on watch, starting with, again, this pre-market zone, which we've just touched pre-market lows. So we went through pre-market highs, and then we sold off as soon as we went through pre-market highs. So I wonder if is like the opposite thing going to happen? Are we going to go through pre-market lows and then start to rally? Again, no, just that one trade for me. Nothing else exciting that I'm super interested about yet. It's Monday morning. I don't want to go too hard on Monday morning. I don't want to start my week off kind of like mad. So I just wait. But this is pretty dramatic, It's low to high 0.5% in pretty much a straight line.
Out there on Fubo with that down action coming in, and looking at the biddy here, it's looking good. I don't know. Maybe it's a short Bitcoin, short market type of day. We'll see what happens. Uber's still looking really good, though. Uber's lifting into the earnings. That's what it seems like. Just broke 98.
Patiently waiting there off the open.
Oh, yeah.
Just, again, got that one short, and it's not even doing that great, so.
Took a little bit of path add. Looking to see if path can come back up here.
What's the difference between the SPY and the SPY 2? No, it's just SPY, and then 2 means it's a 2-minute chart. So the number just represents, right? If I hit 5, it'll just go to a 5-minute chart. So the watermark is just telling you what time frame it's on. So yeah, now the SPY is well through yesterday's low. Now the next our pre-market low. So now the next thing is, right, do we fill the gap? That's the next area I think that's important to watch. Right? Do we end up filling the gap here? That's right there at 682.50 because we're now through pre-market low. Then below that, we got a whole way to go.
Stepping up here on path, trying to time this run right back up. Okay, good timing to begin with. Let's see if it just takes off through the high.
It would be the most hilarious outcome if we rip through pre-market high and then sell, and then we dump through pre-market low and then buy. That would be fitting for this market. Just shake both sides of the tree.
Yeah, they like to do that, right? There's path getting me a nice little jump. Now it just needs to break the high. Let's see if we can get this to run up a little bit. There we go, path.
Spy so far, if I zoom in, this is the first 2-minute candle that it looks like it's attempting some sort of bottom to it.
Yeah. I'm risking about 80 on that Qualcomm. I have the stop already placed near the 181. I'm at 181.80, but it needs to come back big time. There's path pulling back a little bit, but still holding on.
4 big ones on my SUPV short, so 4 buccarinos.
Fubo has been a straight wash out the gates. RX holding on too. So I'm looking for names that are strong, right? Like that are up on the day. Like I'm just trying to stay with the strength, guys. BE doing well. So there's some stocks that are doing well. Lumen doing well today. I talked about how that could hold 9 today and get going back to 11. That's looking good. I'm in Path. That's doing well. Rocket is doing well. Tesla is doing well. The Dutch Bros, some coffee game. Lemonade is doing well. Zscalers. Oh, SoFi. SoFi is looking good, like it wants to break 30 again. That's a big watch on 30. So I'm watching for SoFi to see if it can get that 30 break today. We'll see if it holds here at VWAP and it gets that break.
I finally did get filled. I don't know if it's going to be a good thing or bad thing, but some CSIQ, so some solar. Looks like there's a manufacturing PMI that just came in, according to our boy Walter. And the SPY turn around just to make a new low again.
SoFi looks good.
Manufacturing PMI, essentially unchanged. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or an up thing or down thing, but that's a number that we got. We haven't been getting many of these numbers recently, so at least we got one that people can kind of hang their hat on there.
Nope. Took a little piece of SoFi there, trying to get this to go right back up. See if it can break the 30 and get going here today. There's a lot of share size waiting at that 30.
Just going around the horn here, right? XLF wanted to show, right? Hitting new lows. This is kind of the real culprit today. XLK, which is our tech, that's been trying to dig in, but that's been selling from the open. And then XLV, and again, the reason I go through these 3, for those who don't know, these are kind of the big 3 that make up the largest percentage of the S&P 500. And we have XLV is trying to put in a bounce, but all 3 big sectors are down from the open, and we're selling just a bit. So no real safe haven here. Nothing I can really see for news as of why. So this could just be uncertainty now, on the grand scheme of things, right? We are still up 0.2% on the day, and we are still kind of within this big range that was made after J Powell was talking these last few days. And just kind of like mark this out, like this range right here, right? There's got a big range happen. So really, we're kind of in a noise zone. So we need to make sure that you're doing like Mitch was talking about. Try to find what's strong and stay with that, and then try to find what's weak and avoid that. And if we are going to chop, that's going to be the way it's going to happen. So first 5-minute green bar is forming here all day, has 3 minutes to go to potentially bounce from here and be something that's interesting.
Took a little RX, looking for a break to 6 on that. Got SoFi, a pretty good amount there too. SoFi breaks the 30 there. Let's see it. Let's see if it really wants to go now.
My one trade, SUPV, is working out nicely. Oh, I did get CSIQ there, so I have to look at that one too. But this has been the only, and here's the daily chart is why. Again, just overextended daily chart, looking to short there. And so far, off the open, that's just been a big sell. So we're looking to see if this kind of breaks this yesterday's range. If we get into this range, about 1250, I'll probably cut off some of the position there. Again, that's something I'm just doing more with this trading. The bot gives me the trade. I look to potentially when to take part off the trade, not all of it, but just take a little bit of off the trade. And as soon as I can take a little bit off the trade, I do. And then move the stop probably under these pre-market highs. So then the risk is negligible. And I just let it run all day.
Trying to do the same right now for SoFi. Let's see if it wants to run all day. Let's go. Come on, SoFi.
So yeah, so far a $30, a big $30 day today. Dollar menus on me, boys. Oh wait, there's 120 people here. Not all of you can get. Only some.
Love to hear it.
XLV is trying to dig in here.
I'll take the apple pies. Let's go.
XLF trying to dig in as well. XLK again would be hilarious. Don't know if it's gonna. XLK is really kind of the dog here, but would be hilarious if that's the game plan in which we dip. Come on. So yeah, this is the pre-market high up here. So it would just be fitting and funny if we do the pre-market high, we undercut or we rip through and rally. If we do the same thing to the pre-market low there, that would just all be very funny.
Things are ripping, at least for me. Path, RX doing really well. So I'm trying to stick with those. Just trying to stick with what's winning.
Ooh, new lows for the SPY.
Yeah, SoFi's the one that's kind of creeping me out. It's got an up and down. Just looking for it to push above this 30, but it really keeps rejecting it. Be patient here. Come on, Path. Get through. Get through the 1670s.
Oof. And new lows, new lows, new lows. Now we're getting close, going red on the day here.
Yeah, that's when it gets tough, right? Like, I'm even seeing some names kind of like pull back. Even the strong is starting to turn a little bit.
Yeah, if the market's gonna go like this, it's very hard to find a safe haven, right? We talk with this all the time.
It's very hard.
When the market moves dramatically, that's everything kind of moves together. It's other than the kind of the micro cap type of space, everything kind of shifts together, kind of in a line.
Oh yeah. All right, I'll give SoFi one more time to break 30. After that, I got to start tightening down, right? So we'll give it the chance. Path is looking well, so I'm just trying to take my eye off of it almost. It's just about to break the highs, so let's let that happen, and then I'm letting SoFi go for one more 30 attempt. Let's see if we can get that break there. Not a bad look right now. Uber trying to break the 98 again. I might, if I had some money, I'd go for that. I think I'm all out of money. Yeah, all out of money.
Yeah, and those are really good charts to look at, right? If we look at Uber, just holding up, like a bull flag, whatever you want to call it, but then you compare that to the SPY that's just been a bleed fest all day, and then the RSP, which is down almost 1%. So your average stock is down. So this ends up being, I think, a part where if you're someone who scans intraday, right? I'm not, but if you are, you just kind of set your scanner to something a little simple, like show me everything that's green on the day. Show me everything that's green from the open. Even more, that'd be even more impressive.
That's what I watch. Haha.
If you can just look at, and not this day in particular,
Yeah.
because we kind of opened up and just bled. So anything that is up from your opening price, if the market bounces, that's going to be a bit of a big deal, right? And again, the Dow is going to be mostly financials, and we saw that started to bleed early, right? And there's financials making new lows, right? Obviously, less tech in the Dow, so that's why that one I'm focusing on is bleeding, because again, healthcare is not doing anything. It's just
Yeah, it's nothing. SoFi, it just can't get it. Can't get above that 30. This is like the third time. So at this point, I put the stop at the 29.88. We'll see if it just breaks through right now, or is it just can't do it. If it can't do it, you might need to get out. There he goes again for the 30, and it just can't. There's like this either iceberg order or something. There's something there at that 30 that it just no bueno. No bueno. Not wanting to get through that 30. And when it does, it's very short-lived. Right? So getting closer and closer to stopping out here at 2090s. 2990s, right? So this still doesn't want to break. There's definitely a bigger order there. Here it comes. You see it taps up, right back down. Taps up, right back down. It's filling there, but you're not even seeing it on the time and sales. Telling me more and more. Could be dark pulling action off of the 2990s and 30 area. And look how it reacts right there on the 30. It pushed. So let's see if this is finally the time where the buyers take control and they send it off the 30s. This point, I got to be break even and just look to see if it goes. If I get out, I get out. Like at this point, it's just more. There's no need for me to be in the name at this point if it does come back underneath 30. So just giving it the chance to go here. If it goes, I have a really good size. If it doesn't, that's okay too, right? You got to be smart here, especially on a day like today where things don't want to continue. Path is going to probably test me down here. That's where it gets tough to hold because you're going to get a test. There goes SoFi, now up to 3080s, 3008s. Now let's see if it breaks the 3010s here. Back to 30s, tells me to get out, right? Like those types of moves.
SPY just tapped even to me. So it just went break even on the day.
VIX is jumping now.
Potentially a buyer stepping in here on that gap fill from the open.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a sell all morning. The Qs are still the only thing in the world that's up a little bit, but yeah, the SPY has just been selling right off the open. Again, we've been talking about the main culprit, which is finance, right? So anything financial related has been pretty relatively weak, and we're talking your big banks. Those guys have been really bleeding, where we've had XLV hasn't really done anything, down a little bit, but nowhere near finance. And then tech sold from the open. So
there goes SoFi. That's what I wanted to see, guys. Let's go, SoFi. Let's run. SoFi's looking good now, guys. This is why you stick with the flavor of the day. I'm not even looking at the SPY chart. That's just going to give me fear. There's no need to have fear. Just look at my own chart. SoFi looking really good here. Let's go, SoFi. There we go. 30.22s now.
The SPY will certainly help if we can just like not even bounce hard from here, just stop going down for a period of time.
Yeah. That's it. I agree. Just stop going down, right? Just stop going down. All right. Let's see if Path wants to make the move now. Now SoFi is going to come into some reselling here. Of course, we're expanded away from the 9. The key is the 9 needs to start holding, and we need to just keep grinding that path. Haha. Path intended. Pun intended.
All right, I took this SUPV part of this one out just because it's sold off and now it's just kind of chopping around this area. So the way I'm looking at this is A, it was a great trade to begin with, but B, the market's just been bleeding this entire time. Slow kind of bleed lower.
Oh, yeah.
So if the market chills out or bounces, I think a lot of things that were down, we could have this this pop up.
Yeah, rally.
Yeah, I read all that. I read all that stuff about the repo market tech, and that's, I don't know, could be part of it, but it just, we knew all that Friday, right? So I don't know how much of that is getting priced in now. Again, could be, but it's kind of just more to me feels like
I mean, every sector is red from the open, right? Something needs to change. So I look at the 15 minutes and I see basic materials starts to bounce, utilities, energy, and industrials. What is lagging? Real estate, healthcare, communication. So we need to see like maybe healthcare start making a little bounce. All those areas are red except some of the major names. So those are the names that can maybe drag us out of here. We're going to talk about big boys, and I'd focus on like an Lily chart that's doing well today, right? That could be your name to kind of lean you out of here. So you want to see some of those names turn green: Johnson and Johnson, AbbVie, AZN, NVS. So those are names that I'd look at to see if healthcare can start to go green. This is why I pay attention to a lot of this, guys. And you guys will see me all the time point to open from the open. And then I have this one, which is just the last 15 minutes. In the last 15 minutes, we're starting to get what? Green. Bounce back, baby. Bounce back. So.
yeah, and right, just to, because again, we spend a lot of time looking at like 2-minute charts and 5-minute charts here. We're flat. off the
Qualcomm
open.
coming
So,
back, guys.
yeah, it's not like the market is really falling apart in a scary way or anything. We're flat from the open. So what we're trying to just do here is we're trying to patiently wait and say, okay, well, what could potentially happen to turn the boat, right? Is this selling going to happen all day? But if you zoom out on the SPY, we're still inside yesterday's range, and we're like in the middle of yesterday's range. So we got long way to go to get to yesterday's close, like a long way to go. So we've just again turned red here on the SPY, and then green on the Qs. So it's one of those that if you're day trading, this kind of feels like a bit of a bloodbath. If you're someone who just kind of watches from a swing trading standpoint, the market hasn't done anything, hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just covered those shorts because I'm just looking at it and saying, okay, well, this is the area where it would make sense to potentially get some buying if we are. And I'm hoping that the system will start to maybe start buying some stuff here, but I'm just not seeing that at all yet. And it's good time to do it because I'm looking at my SUPV and all those, and those are bouncing just a little bit. So
I'm getting some data issues.
well, those are not fun.
Yeah. Just not even seeing candles. That's why you have multiple sources. Not just one for your data. Because if one data goes bad, the other one will probably be fine. And if that one's bad, then there's probably something broken.
Yeah, there's probably, if both data sources are down, it's probably a root
A bigger
cause,
thing. Yeah, there's a bigger
right? Like
problem.
it's coming. The problem is coming from the exchange itself, and then there's nothing you could be doing anyway. So
Yep. So
we get total household debt in an hour taxing. That's interesting. We got some manufacturing stuff that just came in 1 minute ago, according to our boy Walter. Again, I don't even look. I'm just too confused looking at what's supposed to come out today because I don't know what's actually coming out and what's not. So I just wait for my boy. So ISM manufacturing was kind of unchanged across the board here. And the manufacturing PMI was unchanged across the board. So did get some numbers. Doesn't look like they matter really at all. So just watching here, we're trying to dig in. So Fed Cook speaks, Fed Daily speaks. Yeah, these guys.
bunch of Fed
Now,
speaks on
yep,
on no data.
yeah, yep. So like in the last 10 minutes or so, we've been hanging out this purple line that I drew in right here. This is, I can actually do this. This is Friday's. I should probably label these for you guys. Friday's close. So far we're getting just some kind of choppy action here around Friday's close. So if we are going to kind of put in at least a short-term like stand, this could be a place to do it. So we can continue again to look around the horn. When we look at healthcare, that's been bouncing a little bit, and then we look at finance, that's just been stopped going down. I think the real bounce has come from tech here. Yeah, tech trying to put in a little bit of a bounce. So these again are just the
Yep.
areas to watch.
Qualcomm coming back. That's one to watch above 182, I would say. But it's not a bad one.
I am, yeah. So my, other than the tiny bit of this SUPV left, my day trading account here is in cash, right? My swing trading account, I've got some of those swing trades on, but they're just not doing a heck of a lot, to be honest. I'm just bringing up my broker account here. I'm about flat on the day, so not not a huge amount happening, and that makes sense because the SPY is flat on the day. So your
Yeah.
swing trades probably should be flat on the day.
VIX still holding on there, looking around to see what is holding up here. BE is one of those names, just continues to chug, baby. LUMN doing well out there, so you just got to stick with the good is Tesla out there, green today, Rocket up green today, AUR, UAMY up today as a minerals play that is getting a little bounce today. RBRX getting a little bounce today in the tech space. SoFi, of course, I'm in that one. And then just looking around, ZS still doing well. So Valet, another name that's been doing well on the daily since the 11 break. I talked about that one. Never took the trade on it. VIX spiking another bit there, guys. So VIX getting another jump there. There's certain areas that are getting the drag today, and it is starting to
Yeah,
weigh
that's
on them. Basic materials, communication. So now I can start looking for that AU kind of gold short here. Could be an opportunity if I wanted to short gold. SoFi really trying to push now. Let's see if it can really get going. Trying to hang in on this path, but that's just because SoFi is doing so well.
getting a quote there from a Goolsby.
But
I believe that
Gooseby,
rates will settle a fair bit lower.
oh, she likes Trump.
Goolsby. What an unfortunate.
Right? She sounds like a good Halloween person. Gooseby.
Yeah, LUMN has been, again, we've been saying all day, you just want to find the stuff that's holding. Because if the market just chills out and kind of stops going down, then anything that hasn't participated in the sell-off should be okay. I think that's what we're kind of looking for. And again, sell-off. I want to just bring up the daily chart here and just say, hey, this is This is where we are. This is Friday's close. So we are like 2 ticks below Friday's close. You know, we're still very, very, very range bound here. So don't get too kind of enthralled kind of on either side. Super range bound.
SoFi, baby. SoFi. Keep climbing, baby. Keep climbing. Now we just need Path to come back. But SoFi is really doing well here, guys. 30-37 and taking off here. All right, let's see if we can get to 30-50 or something like that, and I'm willing to sell into that. That's a nice expansion. We can get a little bit more here. You can sell into the rip here. There's 30-40s. All right, not going to get too picky. Putting it out at 30-50s here. Let's see if we get a quick little pop fill. No fill right there. Trying to get through there and sell up there towards the 30-50s. Let's see it.
SPY trying to put in a bounce here. We're going green. Back green on the day.
Okay.
I'm trying to. Again, we've really kind of stopped going down. We're at for say 10, 20 minutes now. So we're settling in. So when the market stops and settles in like this, you can start to, big bounce there a little bit. You can see more bifurcation in the market when it kind of settles down as well. So
All right, trying to let SoFi work a little bit here with the market coming back. So a lot of volume come in there. Let's see if we can get one more drive here on SoFi and let this really start pushing back here. Hourly levels can push us towards the next range, about 30.85. Can we get to 31 today? I mean, that's an insane number to think of, but hey, if it can get up there, it won't be looking too bad. And the VIX coming down makes me feel a little bit better, a little bit more on ease. But let's see what happens.
yeah, and that makes sense, right? With the SPY ripping, we're gonna get the VIX selling back down just a little bit there.
Let's go SoFi.
Yeah, well, you can see the bounce coming in here. So again, this, just to remind everyone, this purple line is just yesterday's close, right? There's nothing magic about that. It's just Friday's close. So where are we relative to that? And the first kind of opening drive was certainly lower, right? And a fair amount lower. And now we're trying to put in a little bit of a bounce. You look like a 15-minute chart, which I have down here. It looks a little bit more interesting. We've come in to pierce yesterday's low. Again, it'd be hilarious. We fake out, we sell, we rip, we bounce. We just give everybody a bad time. Would be the funniest outcome. I'm always here for the funniest outcome because I'm just going to do whatever my system tells me to do anyway. So
Why? That's not funny. That's not
funny
funny.
to me. Funny to me.
Just joking. Just joshing.
Funny to me.
That's the market for you. I mean, there's still some place. You just have to be in the right one.
Yeah, people have been talking about doing a pretty good job there in chat, bringing Lumen up, right? You and your SoFi, right? Lumen's just been ripping. SoFi has been doing really well as well. Tesla, right? Tesla's been holding up nicely. Healthcare. So I want to figure out where this bounce is coming from. It's probably tech, but like, yeah, healthcare has just stopped going down, which I guess is a fine thing. And then financials have just stopped going down as well. No huge move there. And then XLK, that's really what's been putting in the bounce here.
Just need the market to come back, baby.
just watching here. So swing just came through. Bought some of this PSKY, Paramount Skydance Corporation. So the robot just picks them up here at 15 for a week, roughly a week hold.
Let's go SoFi reload here and go for another round. Might pull back because SoFi loves to give it back to me, but I'm trying to hold on here. I was really close to selling, man. I put out that sell at like 4 cents off of it. So that's one of those where you just get a little bit picky, and I had the target profit out. Maybe you should just hit the bid, but
SPY bouncing pretty nicely here. I'm trying its hardest. Now, what really needs to happen for me to get interested and say, okay, that actually maybe we are really bouncing here, is just a break through this 683.50, and that is just the pre-market low. We kind of cut through that, chopped around there for a few minutes before continuing lower. So I'm not excited about this market until it can get through. It can get through that zone, right? If it gets back through that, and that's where VWAP actually is right now as well. So if it can get through that and it can get through VWAP, then I think we might be onto something. But until then, it's just dead catish, right? Dead cat bounce.
yeah. If you're looking for a short opportunity, I think AU off the 68 here doesn't look like the worst if you're looking for short opportunities, right? All depends on what you're looking for here.
Yeah, for me, I look at that and I say, okay, that's already moved a lot of what the market might move in a day. I don't know if I'd want to chase that to the short side. If anything, I'd be looking for.
Why not? The daily chart looks, I mean, they're all right there. It's bunched up 68, 68, 68s.
Yeah,
At least
just
on the daily.
every time we've been in this zone over the past week, buyers have stepped in, right? So could they be exhausted? Yeah, but every time we get into this 68 area
Would you
in the
say
last 3
buyers or
days,
sellers? I think that's a
well,
sellers.
well, I'll just look at the chart, the bottoming
Oh,
tails.
on the SPY. I was looking at AU.
Oh, AU, yeah.
AU, gold turnaround.
Yes.
What do you think about gold turnaround?
I don't know. Commodities get so hot. I don't know about that.
I mean, it's been a
Right?
long run, though. It hasn't been a little one, right? I think we can
It's
both say
dipped
that.
shorting after the 10% dip from highs.
SoFi right back there, guys. So that's how it goes with SoFi. It could wash with the market here.
Yeah, the SPY bounced for a little bit there, and now it looks like we're back at that kind of flat on the day zone to see if we could dig in and hold. Who knows? Again, RSP and IWM, which is more of a good representation of your average stock, is down 1% today. That's again a good what I look at for okay, what's happening here on average, not just a big cap tech, but what are most people doing?
VIX jumping again.
Yeah, well, just new lows here on the SPY. So again, that bounce came in pretty sharp and then just got reversed entirely. Got reversed super quickly here.
That AU starting to fall. If the market falls, I think it could start to turn there. So we'll see what happens. Gold to the short side, maybe. It's definitely a bleeding out type of day. Nothing really bouncing, man. It's an ugly turn. I'm just glad I don't have swing trades on today. I'm just using the day trade account, but it's a bloody mess out there, guys.
Yeah, and important to reiterate, right? Bloody mess from the day trade. The SPY is down 0.01%. So we are as flat as we could possibly be. Q is actually holding strong, up 0.5%. Then we have IWM is being the biggest loser, down 0.8%. So it's one of those you can see. Q's up good. SPY did nothing. IWM getting beat. IWM always seems to be getting beat though, the poor thing.
Poor thing
Still
can't
can't
keep
break,
going.
right?
There's definitely a pesky buyer there around the 162s, I think. So it's just
Weed ETF, James, MSOS is probably the most popular weed ETF and the most liquid, I would say, if you're looking for weed ETFs.
probably about the only
That's
one
a
you
good
can
one.
trade. Probably about the only one tradable.
Yeah, the rest of them are going to be pretty liquid, so that's a good one as well, right? And if you're having platform issues, just go to trade the pool and just type in there to support and tell them what's going on. I personally have been fine all day. I use systems to take the trade, so I don't know if that's a little bit different, but I haven't been having an issue personally.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten some charting issues on mine a little bit, so I will say there might be something off. But hey, always gonna tell you what I see, guys. There's a little bit off on the charting right now, but it might just be a certain stocks because for me, it's only on like one stock that I'm seeing a little bit of weirdness. But hey, just be careful out there,
And
guys.
yeah, and just know that tech issues happen, and you have to
Yeah,
make sure you don't try to trade too aggressively through them, especially if you don't have another charting platform. Make sure you're not like anger trading through tech issues, right? Sometimes you just have to go, okay,
yeah.
you know, we all wish tech worked all the time, but we all know it doesn't. So we have to take a when it happens, you got to take a deep breath and kind of push off as well. So oh, Alex is saying he emailed in and they were able to get them all fixed up. So
There you
something to
go.
keep an eye on. Maybe I don't know, maybe a double bottom, or maybe we're just entering. We had the gap up, we came back to even. Maybe we're just going to mess around this area for a period of time. It certainly could take place. But yeah, going around the different sectors, finance has been the dog here, right? Even when the market was bouncing, tech or finance really hadn't bounced at all. Healthcare, again, healthcare is kind of leading the little bit of a sell now. Just broke out of this base to the downside from the healthcare sector. And then if we look at tech, come on. Tech is the only one it's still up on the day, and it's just kind of basing around here, right? So, called it right from the open. This is definitely a big cap tech day. Has been doing the best. The other sectors have been pulling back. That's why we see the Q still up roughly 0.5% with everything else down.
Got washed in path there, guys. That really cutted me out today, guys. I was looking really well. That's how the market is right now. Looking great. Didn't sell it. That's how it goes. So path just bleeding out there, guys, right there, and that's how it goes. So out on that trade, we'll still look to see if SoFi gets back above 30s, but it's kind of bleeding out too. So it's gonna be a Bears type of day, baby. The Bears are out. The Bears are out. The Caves going strong, man.
Well, hopefully they can. If the Bears really want to make progress, they got to
Look
make
at
the
Biddy,
SPY
man.
down on the day.
Look at Biddy. I mean, it's been a leak, man. I don't think the leak's stopping anytime soon. Or at least it seems like it.
Yeah,
We'll see what
maybe. But,
happens.
right, just gapping up and closing the gap. That's one thing, but like, can they actually take us
Yeah,
down on the
the
day?
key is there's nothing bouncing. That's what I see. There's not a single thing in the green from the open, at least in the sector wise. game, and until that changes, even defensive can't really get going here. Like you would think maybe some defensives, consumer defensives, some value plays get moving. Even those plays not holding on right now. So it's going to be
Tesla
elite.
chart's kind of interesting. Huge rip off the open, kind of like a little flag going on here.
Healthcare is bleeding.
Tesla side of things.
That's the place I'm seeing the most hit today, and that tells me to watch out for Hims report tonight. Will this be the end of the Hims rally? A little part of me is betting that, yeah, this is it. Look at the Hims getting smacked today. This is the end of that rally, man. I should have gone for the short. I just can't do earnings shorts because, of course, the way that our swing is, it would cut me out tonight, right? So, but this Hims short looks like it's falling and falling fast, guys. And this is the biggest thing about Hims is that now there's a lot of generic drugs that are going to be available. What they were being able to have a first advantage was a lot of these generic drugs, so they're cheaper. And that's why people use Hims. It's not necessarily that they're just better than everybody else. They're just cheaper, right? And so in this case, as more drugs that Hims puts out there goes generic, right? Well, that just starts to ruin their competitive advantage. And what really competitive advantage do they have? A lot of like telehealth and delivery to your door kind of thing that everyone else can do. There's really no competitive advantage. Just putting out what I think is a story here. And look at all those tops. To me, that topping action tells me that this has been in a really nice run. And that run is starting to decline fast. So this is definitely one that I think we see the disaster maybe written all over it. Palantir is going to be a fun one tonight because that looks like a topping candle tonight. Will this be the top of Palantir above 200?
Yeah, a lot of, and like we talk about with the government shutdown, a huge focus on earnings because,
Yeah.
like, what else do you look at? So yeah, got some good names
All right.
coming this week. Most of the tech is kind of sorted out, but
AU. AU is really falling off here, so I might take that short, even if it's a little late. It just looks really nice. That's dropped
Yeah.
already, like 50, 60 cents, almost $1.
So yeah, we're down 0.1 now on the SPY, getting closer into this range. So the question now is, I think we got to put our eyes on these lows, right? So both Thursday and Friday had a low right in an area that as soon as we got there, buyers just kind of aggressively stepped in, right? One was overnight. It closed right at the lows, and then the next morning we gapped up big. And then on Friday, it was as we sold into the zone, buyers just came in later in the day. So those two areas are the next areas to focus. And then from there, if we end up losing that with SPY just rolling over here to new lows again, down 0.15%, then we started looking at these gaps, right? This gap here. And again, it would not surprise me to see us down to this breakout zone at this kind of 674, 675 area. So
Yeah, not taking the swing right now in AU. I would love for it to bounce 15-minute chart right back up, so I'll keep that eyes. But I really do like this short. It's just risking here. I got to risk 69 versus a point. I'd rather risk about a point here. So we'll see if I can get a little bounce there in AU as gold starts to turn. AU leads too. That's the other thing. I really think that I've seen it countless times lead the rally and lead the breakdown. So in this case, that's another reason why I like AU. And the Qs are dropping fast here. That's going to speed up this acceleration, guys, to the downside. VIX is looking like it's starting to jump to the upside. On the daily, it's just a little blimp of a move. It could be falling fast here, guys. So definitely seeing the disaster start to leak around. More and more leakage coming in here.
now 0.2 down on the SPY, and the Q's up 0.2. So Yeah, it's starting to get, now is the question. Now the SPYs went even. Do the Qs come back down here and go a little bit even as well? Do we see that kind of
So
across
many.
both of those?
Yeah, and a lot of momentum names just bleeding hard, guys. I'm going to show you guys some of this bleeding action. It's pretty significant. Look at Rigetti. Rigetti just hit 11% already from the open. 11% on QUBT, 11 on UMAC, IonQ. These are big drops, 8%, 9% drops. These are big drops really fast. And what are these? These are bid downs. They're just leaking. RCAT leaking. Joby leaking. So like if you took positions over the weekend, ouch. Ouch. You're definitely giving it back, right? If not, you're deep in the red here. So it's tough action to see this, but look at SMR. That's a wipeout candle. That washes out majority of traders here. So all these names really taking a beating here. And it's a lot. It's a lot, guys. There's very few in the green here. I can try to distinguish between green and red here. Let me see if I have a number for you guys. Oof, the number's low. It's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 73 on my watch list in the red from the open.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. So we've got about 30% of the market as a whole advancing, with about 65% declining. Now these start to get to overbought, oversold levels, right? It's another way to look at it, is that the moment that everything is selling off, that's generally not the moment you want to be selling. That's generally the moment you want to be taking a look at. So I'm still in list mode and saying, hey, what's going, instead of focusing on what's selling, it's like, hey, the market's been kind of leaking down a little bit all day. I just want to still focus on what's holding, right? What's going on here? What can I don't want to chase lower, especially once now that the market has kind of proved to us the last couple of days that there's some buyers in this zone. I want to see, okay, what's holding? It's definitely not, like you mentioned, it's definitely not quantum computers. But yeah, where can we find like that Tesla chart? That'll be interesting to see if Tesla's able to hold on here. Come on, my charts. Charts are lagging. Yeah, if Tesla's able to hold on a little bit here, then potentially that could be a nice little bounce. Yeah, because look at Tesla's chart. Go over here. Like these kind of things. This is what I'm looking for. Is find me charts that aren't participating in this sell-off. That's where I'm going to be super excited to start to get involved. So this Tesla, this is going to be something I'm going to watch. I don't know. Maybe I'll anchor a VWAP to this high or something. Maybe this will be my one discretionary trade a day. If Tesla can turn around and start to push higher, then it shows that at least it's not the end of the world. I mean, we got to remember we're still above Friday's low, so we don't want to get too crazy with it.
Yeah, I agree. I did just take Biddy there, guys. I took it at 1964. It's already starting to climb here. It's a big volume increase in just the last candle. So I took a step up. I'm willing to add on pullbacks here and see if Biddy wants to start making a move, a real one at least, and start to climb out of this. This just looks really good on the setup. And who knows, maybe we come back tomorrow and it's at 20 or 2025. And if that happens, this really starts to turn. Bitcoin starts to look like it's on the downside. It's either that or gold for me right now on the short. And I think I already missed the AU. So look at the AU. It's just dropping fast now. Like I should have just gone after this, but hey. That's how
it's funny just to show you that gold is not the ticket, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, when the market's starting to sell a bit, you buy gold."
It's been the opposite right now. It's been riding with the market, so I could see it selling off with the market too, right? It's actually been going up with it if you really look at the recent run. And then like names like Uber that were looking really strong. When you start to see key turnarounds like that, looking really good, and then just crap the bed, right? Like SoFi,
right.
crap the bed, right?
Well, the bot's starting to buy a little bit here. This one trade came in, this Cube Smart, whatever.
Cube Smart, all right. You're
Whatever
going
Cube Smart is.
defensive. without knowing it. That's defensive.
I have no idea what this guy is, but
So you're talking
it's
you're going to REITs and you're going into like public storage, essentially.
okay. Oh, I gotcha. So yeah, this is you can pretty obviously probably see what the bot's looking at, right? This has just been selling off pretty dramatically here, so it's looking to saying, hey, that's a bit overdone, right? We're a bit overextended here. So just like the SUPV, that happened earlier. That was a great trade. Now this cube is just trying to do the opposite of that, right? And this is the market maker style of trading, where you're just trying to be neutral on everything, but you're just trying to buy those dips and sell those rips and kind of rinse and repeat there.
Let's look to see if we get some more leakage here. The SPY is just hanging on the lows right now, guys. Could start whipsawing back, but right now it's definitely tweaking, like it's just hitting the lows, hitting the lows. Let's see if it finally expands away from the 9, or does it come back to the 9? I think this is the important part right now, to see if you get another momentum move. VIX is right there off of Friday's high. That's another reason why I'm calling it. Well, for me, VXX, right? It's right there off of the Friday high. This is a big spot, right? Either it's going to pull back, I think, to the 34, or it could just rip above. So VXX on the watch. Some kind of bounce there in AU, just not a big one. Just kind of hanging out right now, watching Biddy. Bitty.
Take a look here at the SPY. Again, just trying to put in a little bounce, but nothing to be said. Now, again, we're getting close to. You can see why this area is important, right? This was the low here on Friday or Thursday before the big bounce, and the low here on Friday before the big bounce. So we're in this zone now. And we're really kind of extended to get there based, whatever metric you want to use. We got pretty extended to get there. So the question is, right, do we hit this low? And when we hit this low, what happens, right? There's some guy named Johnson talking, I guess. I don't know. I'm just looking here on my feed with our boy Walter. And our boy Walter is just talking a lot about whatever Johnson is saying. Talking to Trump about Snap.
Yeah, they're going to bring it back. That's not a big deal. It really isn't a big deal, guys. It's just been...
Yeah, not seeing, like, I'm looking, I'm not seeing a reason for it. And again, I want to reiterate, not a sell-off, right? We're down 0.25%. But we were gapping up quite a bit from that.
Yeah.
So wired, right? And we talk about this all the time. The pre-market action, I don't really care too much about. Here's another $500 million worth of crypto longs liquidated in the last 60 minutes. So another liquidation event there.
Money Mitch might be onto something with this Biddy play. Oh, that's a good sign, man. I'm telling you, I see Ethereum going down fast. It just looks to me like those are leading, and they were telling me it's weak. ETH, you down big too, so it's time to hang in on this Biddy. I want to add, but I'm just going to be smart. Just be patient here, looking for ads on pullbacks, and I'll be looking for it at below 1950s for it to come back into like the 40s. That's where it could really find some buying. Then I want to see it get to 20 today. That's really the mentality. If it can do that, we can start to really rip higher.
Okay, hello. Yeah, some big trying again. So I don't know what's going to happen on this one, but we're trying again to put in a little bit of a bounce here on the markets. Just trying, I think, being the key word. We need to see way more price action than that in order to say, yes, we're getting a little bounce here. So Goolsby said there's a golden path for the U.S. economy. Ooh, golden.
I like that
My
conversation.
my cube is working a little bit here, so that would be awesome if I end up getting a nice short off the morning, and then say the market bounces here a little bit and cube bounces with it, get a nice little long there. Probably cut that one too, and then just walk away 2 for 2.
Looking for some bounce here in FLNC to get short. Just needs to bounce a little bit more here. Keeping an eye on the trades out there.
RNTX Steph is looking at as well.
In the penny game, let's see what's standing out to me real quick.
Ren Therapeutics. Interesting.
MSP Recovery, MSPR, that one's been good. There's not much. LAZR out there, but I don't see much out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about as well, Tack, is that generally you want to see, generally there's multiple liquidation events just from what I'm watching, when I watch in the crypto space, you see a huge, you get your first liquidation. In this case, it was $500 million, is a big deal. And then you get generally another liquidation, I've noticed. And then from there, that's when you start to put in bottoms. It's hilarious that we have an up. Generally, there's a bullish liquidation where there's a whole bunch of shorts liquidated, and then there's a bearish liquidation where there's a whole bunch of longs liquidated, all for Bitcoin to be doing absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's just like, stop using so much margin, guys. Just stop. Everyone gets like addicted to margin, and just like, relax, dudes. How did you lose $500 million? Like, the market hasn't gone anywhere. It's just so crazy to me. And crypto had a liquidation event like 2 weeks ago. So you think it'd be fresh in everyone's mind to, hey, maybe not go all in on crypto on margin just a couple days later. It's insanity to me. Little bounce coming in here.
It's also what these platforms offer you, right? They offer you 30-to-1 leverage if you want to go and use it. And then that's the problem. There's no regulation on that. You know what I
It's
mean?
the dream, right? They're selling the dream of, right? If you're leveraged 30-to-1, you don't need much of a Bitcoin move to make a whole bunch of money. And you can see it. Like, this is the Bitcoin chart. If you look at it, it's like all in this area. This is like forced dramatic selling. And the crypto markets are getting so tied to the equity markets that could be part of the reason for it. Now we're bouncing here. We're getting close to being even again on the SPY. So this could be a whole, buy the dip, sell the rip thing. One thing that's not bouncing is my cube. It's not going down, but it's not really bouncing here either. Cube.
Yeah, I mean, 90 MAs tried to put in a hold there at 680s. That's going to be your level to watch today. If you start to really clear 680s on the downside, I would be a little bit concerned, right? That's your kind of concern level. Bounces here, I think, are going to be a little bit choppy here. So you got to stay with the strength. Really look for some names to lead the party. Tesla's the one that's not bad,
Did I
right?
miss it? Oh, darn it. Yeah, that was going to be my one discretionary trade today. I just completely forgot I was going to buy.
You got discretionary on it, man.
I'm still trying to take
I'm
one
out of SoFi now, so maybe SoFi just rips.
Yeah, I was
They've been
just
holding it
gonna
there.
play this as a really
They've been holding
standard kind of
SoFi
bull
there.
flag. Right, this is
There you go.
as textbook as it gets. If you go to the textbook and you look up bull flag, you see this pattern. So that was going to be my game plan, is just to buy through there. So I missed that. And not just any bull flag or bear flag. This is what I think is important to reiterate with people, is that you want to look at specific ones. Right. And for this one, the reason this was so interesting to me is that if you look at this and you compare it to the market was, pushing down all morning, and Tesla was just not really budging. It was holding up strong, and that's the basic concept of relative strength, which again is a really basic concept, but it works. I mean, it's been working since the beginning of time. You can go look at papers written like 60, 70 years ago on the concept of relative strength. Worked then, works now. PHIO.
Ain't broke. Don't go and try to fix it.
Are any of the coins still coins? I don't know
Are
what
any
you
other
mean by
coins
that.
still coins?
Well, Bitcoin is still the coin. It's
Dude,
just people are allowed
you don't
to
have
trade it, right?
Bitcoins. You don't have the actual coin just sitting on your desk.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this either, Shaw. Where you're saying basically, I hate that the crypto market is getting so tied to the stock market. It wasn't.
What?
I,
Come on! You didn't want to let the big boys in.
I like the diversification, right? My whole idea for trading is that I want to diversify across as many different trading styles and philosophies. Why I came here and I made this year the year that I was getting into day trading is because, right, my swing trading overall is going fine, but the more I can diversify, and especially using something like Trade the Pool where I can not have to use my capital for it, use someone else's capital, the better, because there's going to be years in which the market doesn't go anywhere. But yeah, the more things get correlated, the harder it is to find that diversifying alpha, right? The harder it is to go, okay, well, what do I do here? So SPY getting close. This area is getting interesting now that we've bounced to it. This is this chop zone that we had. Again, this line right here is the Friday's close. So you can see if you look up here, we're down 0.4%. So we're basically back to flat for the day. We gapped up, I think, what was it, like point or a 0.5%, and then we sold off till we were down 0.25%. So pretty wide range. You're talking nearly a 1% at 0.86, 1% open to high range. The question is, right, do we just come down here and then bump our head and that's just a lower high and continue lower? Or was that it, right? And then we have this, it would be interesting because this candle would be hilarious actually. If this candle just looked like these other ones, right? If we go SP 500, right? So you have just these 1, 2, 3 bottoming tails. Like we're sitting in kind of a doji action right now here. And again, this is the CFD. So basically these candles include pre and post market. So we have 1, 2, 3 dojis. Is this just doji number 4? And we just spend the whole time just chopping around? Who knows? How do you deal with chop zones? A question. I think the easiest way is to just do nothing. Right? If the market's going to be really, really choppy, like I know a lot of traders who have rules built into their systems, like simple ones of they don't trade inside days. So they would look at today, for example, they wouldn't trade. These are mostly guys who trade like futures, right? They're not looking for like penny stocks to trade or whatever, but they won't trade a stock if it's inside the range of the prior day. And that's like a hard rule because they know there's going to be some chop there as well. I know a lot of traders that don't turn on their systems if there's a large economic report coming out or something like that. If you can identify when or where the chop will be, you're probably best to sidestep it. If you are going to trade, another thing that I know some people do is just shorten time frames. Right? If this is going to be another choppy day, the last couple were choppy days. This is a wider range choppy days, but a lot of people what they'll do is, right, avoid chasing the thing on the way down, but they're doing the opposite. They're looking for dips to buy and things like this, and then just realizing that if the market is going to be choppy, you're just not going to make as much when you're right. You're not looking for a stock just to rip all day long forever or anything like that, because if the market's choppy, then generally speaking, people can be choppy as well. So they're right, buy dips, sell rips. So either sidestep it entirely or get very, very active. And it's the same thing I say during, like the tariff tantrum, like big crashes and big events like that, is you either just sit out. Like I was getting a lot of calls from people during the tariff tantrum on golf courses. They're just like, I'm in cash, let me know. So they missed all this on the way down, and then they missed a lot of it on the way back up too. And they're just fine with that. And then I know a lot of people who just turned into day traders for this period of time and just realize that things are if they are going to get choppy, then they might get choppy quickly. So those are the two, right? The two extremes. Go further out in time, and then the chop doesn't bother you, or go very short in time and where you're trying to make a couple bucks and profit off those as well, right?
Oh yeah. All right, well, looking for Biddy to keep going. That's actually looking pretty well here, guys. I haven't added to it on the swing, but I'm just looking at it. I see AU right back. I think might take a shot on AU, but if I do on that, I'll just be small and see if it's going to get me a bigger return. We'll see what happens on that.
This Q's chart, I was actually looking at this. This is kind of funny. Where, come on, TradingView. It's up the last 3 days, but with red candles. Like that's kind of weird to see. You're
Yeah.
up every day, but so it's
Yeah.
like it gaps up, sells a bit, then gaps up the next day and sells a bit, and then gaps up, and yeah, it's harder action to trade off of for sure.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if the SPY comes right back down to the 660, the 680 spot there. It's just kind of just dwindling here. What I'm looking for is that VXX. If it holds 34 and then just spikes right back to 3460s, that is what will give me the sign.
Do a little refresh here. We actually have less advancing than the last time we looked. We have 30 out of the 500 stocks of the S&P 500. We got 35% making new highs and 65% making new lows. Again, with 75% declining. Again, sometimes, I know people like to use breadth as a confirmatory thing, but there's a group of people and a lot of people that will actually use it as the opposite and say when breadth gets a little bit too crazy, like when every stock is down for the day, maybe it's time that I start dipping my toes in when every stock is up for the day.
Yeah.
So far in the SPY, we hit this level, and we've just been chopping around for a few minutes, about 10 minutes after that, right? So big bounce. Again, the question is, was that just another kind of dead cat bounce in a series of dead cat bounces? And could just be, we've got 10 minutes until we're getting near an end here, that it could just be we're just time to chop, time to consolidate.
Yeah. Looking at a potential short of FLNC. This would definitely be a topping call, but I mean, it's pretty extended here.
I can still hear you, and I think everyone can still see my screen, but my Chrome is just locking up, so just FYI.
Well, no worries. I'll come to mine at least if you want to close up some windows or
Yeah,
something.
I don't know what's going on.
FLNC dropping a little bit there. I could see it rejecting this 21 and then coming right back down, but we'll see what happens there. Really looking for Biddy to be the one. To start
All right,
showing
I'm
me
back.
that move.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, specifically Chrome locking up. I wish I could use Safari,
Chrome
but
sucks.
friggin' EV Mux thing won't let me. I log on to Safari, it goes, no. Give Google your data, please.
Give it now.
Yeah, it's like, no. I'm like, because Safari's just built in, right? So it's all like optimized and stuff. But
RNTX now go up above the VWAP of closer to $2. Just recently got volume at the open too, so this seems like someone bought big at the 175. It's been slowly ticking up. We'll see if the volume comes back to that name. But all right,
Steph shorting TSLL. Wow, that's uncharacteristic there, bud.
yeah,
That's a. Do you know the market cap of Tesla? Oh, look at you branching out. Every
branching
time
out.
you type something in chat, I just assume that it's going to be some sort of micro cap or something. But
Yeah.
you're getting.
It's time to flush AU. Come on. I haven't taken it, but I'm looking at it. I'm considering that AU. Considering it.
I see. I do see what you're looking at there for TSLL. Right, just saying
Yeah.
a failure to take. Right, it's failing to take out this high, so it may roll back down. But looking here at the SPY, right, it's holding on. It hasn't rejected this level. and it's holding on. So let's actually look to see what the, who's the culprit of letting us hold on here. And it's, XLF, nice bounce there in XLF, XLV, healthcare, pretty good bounce, not as good on healthcare, and then tech. But I like to see that you see, and tech barely has any bounce. So we are seeing a pretty good bounce there in finance. And again, I'm a boomer, so for me, finance is very, very important. And it's you can have all the cool stuff that you want when it comes to different AI and blah 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 blah. But if you don't have the guys lending the money, you don't really have anything.
It's true. It's true. Man, I hate when the market gets boring like this. It's like, come on, just do something. Just do something.
Yeah, it's like you had to take your shot when you took your shot in the morning. And then
Yeah.
we may just be doing nothing for the rest. It might be, okay, you had your gap up, you had your sell off. Now we're just closing the day right here. We're just not going to do anything for the rest of it.
Man, a lot of names still just leaking. Very small bounces. That's my thing. I think momentum just really took a beating today. At least momentum names.
Yeah, and it could have just been a big register ring, right? Could just been, okay, when we made it, let's ring the register, let's figure out what's happening next.
Look at SoFi coming back, man. That thing is strong. Somebody wants SoFi today. I'll tell you that much, at least. If the market comes back up, I think SoFi will have a decent day. It's just, you got that caveat, but hey, I don't think it's a bad one to look at. SoFi trying to come back up above 30s there. So you could play both ways, right? There's SoFi. I think there's a leverage one even. So there's SoFi trying to get back there. Yeah, did that reload on the hourly. Yeah, reload at the hourly on the 29.70s, 29.60s. Now trying to recover 30s. Could get going to like 30.50 in a hurry. So it's not a bad one to watch.
Yeah, it's just interesting that we're holding. Like we bounced, and so far, we haven't been giving any of it back. And you could look at this maybe inverse head and shoulders or whatever it is. I think it might just be, that was probably the most dramatic way to have a unchanged market that you could get. And that might just be where we're at. And if the market starts to chop, then again, this is where more opportunity comes out, right? When the market's all selling like this, or the market's all bouncing, and everything kind of goes to one. But if we start to chop and we start to just hang out, that to me is where you can get more interesting plays. Because if the
Yeah.
market's not doing anything, it usually means that you've got one sector ripping and one sector tanking. And those to me are markets that you have a little bit more advantage to them, right? You're not just hanging out.
Seeing AU start to drop there. That's one name that I was just looking at. But there you guys are starting to see some dropping action. SPY still holding on a little bit, but I am starting to see some action come in. VXX almost to that 34 spot for the bounce. I'm looking at potential short of FLNC here.
My cube, I'm up a whopping $2.50 for my cube. So yeah, it's long, just somewhere in this area, in like the 65s or so. So again, this is a pretty basic idea of when things sell off just a little bit too much, down a little bit too many days in a row. Sometimes you can buy them. You're not looking for this thing to go back to 42 or something, right? If it can bounce to like 37, then I'm a happy camper. So
Yeah.
how's your guys' Tesla doing? Doing a 5 minute.
AU drop in there. Biddy now starting to go a little bit higher here. Thinking about adding on Biddy and then just going for a break even. Yeah, it doesn't look bad here. If I'm going to do it, it's here. Let's see if the market can start coming down a little bit. You see some buying come in on Biddy. SoFi still holding well, man. That's going to be one that's just frustrating. It's still looking decent. See what happens on that.
Yeah, and bouncing here in the SPY, and it showed its relative strength hand early, which was telling, right, on that SoFi.
Yeah, it doesn't want to go under 30 today. There's definitely a buyer that is just like, I want in, and they're using the hourly. And you look at the hourly mark, that's just build off support of 2960s, and they could be like adding for big size at 30. There's something there. So let's see if we do get a market rally. I think SoFi would be definitely taking part. That's the kind of mentality, right? That you can kind of use, right? That's why we were talking about knowing which ones are strong. If we do get a market rally, I think Tesla will take part, right? I would think that BE takes part, Rocket takes part. That's why I'm not so quick to short FLNC today, because it's in one of the names that is holding on well. AMAT starting to lift, so that's a good tech name to see lift.
Yeah, and tax saying, right, moved up. I'm assuming by moved up, you just mean tightening your stops on all your shorts, and it makes sense. Is that if you have this kind of gift from the open where you have this, this big sell off, if you had shorts on, especially if they're hedges.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that hedge, and then they never take the hedge off. The hedge turns into a trade, but it's like, okay, you had a 1% high to low drop. That's where you take the hedges off, and you pay yourself, and you roll those monies into trades that you end up liking from the long side, and that's again why you have hedges, because it's time to take a little bit off the table, put a couple bucks in your pocket, and thank yourself that you did a good job protecting against a little bit of downside. It's why a lot of people play long short. It's why I play long short. From the day trading side of things, I want to be, I want to have both on, ideally. So if the market makes a big move, that's again where I'm giving myself some discretion, is like with the SUPV, right, when the market did that kind of second leg down, see, it was the wrong choice, but when it was kind of in this area right here, just basing around at lows, at like 70s, I cut that. And then the CSIQ, come on. Yeah, CSIQ, when it couldn't sell off with the market, I just killed that one. So the only one I have now is this cube, where it sold off most of the day. I think I'm in from around here, and up a few bucks on it. So
I like the VXX look on the 34s there, guys. So we'll see what happens. But the SPY is starting to get a little weaker here. Starting to look for some shorts. Short a little bit of FLNC there. Biddy's still holding green, so I'm just looking for that to kind of pop. Can hold break even now. Really looking for that nice little clean pop above 1970s. There's Biddy making a nice little move for the 1970s move. FLNC going red fast. That's what I want to see now. Now I want to start adding on to it if it starts to break 21, and going for a win here on a short out of FLNC.
well, let's see. But just before we go, just
dropping. So
summarize what I'm looking for, is I think that might have been it. Right, I think that might have been the excitement for today, barring a tweet right? And we are up just to summarize, we're up 0.4% on the SPY or the Qs. We're up 0.04% on the SPY, where we have our 0.8% down on the IWM. So definitely one of those things. Small caps, financials really took the hit. Everything else is just flat on the day. So if you got, it was an exciting morning. So hopefully you got some out of that morning. I wouldn't push it too hard from here on out, because that was I just looking at it like a non-news event. Like there wasn't like a big, there wasn't another cooking oil crisis or whatever. So until TAC has already mentioned, we got some more Fed speakers talking. So keep an eye out for when they happen. For what I'm doing personally is I'm just setting an alert at the low of the day, and I'm setting an alert at the high of the day, and I will not be watching the market until one of those things triggers, right? Just so that I stay out of, like the commenter said earlier, stay out of that chop. So before we go, Mitch, any summary for the peeps?
A lot of breaking down, man. Momentum week, and it could be one of those days where they continue to watch it. So it's going to be all on the SPY right here. If it gets back to like 685, then I think you just stay in chop land for the rest of the day. But right now, it's a big candle. Hourly candle gave us a hammer candle there, a harmy. It could be a change of trend back above 683s. But if we go right back to 680s, watch out for that VXX above 34s and spiking above Friday's high, which is 3468. So that's the danger areas. And if we're really going to go down, it's going to be a fast move here, I think. So watch for your momentum names to continue to show you leak. And that's what I'm seeing in like Rigetti, QUBTS, QUB. Those names are just going down. AEVA, Outster, like so many names that were really hot, now just continuing to break. And those bounces didn't even get to VWAP. That's a telling sign to me that they did not get to at least the average weighted price. So essentially not trying to let you out. So we'll see what happens there, guys. Like always, I'll be